Hi, I'm Sanjana.
I'm Athira, and today we're going to do an audit of Fruitful. Fruitful is a finance wellness platform where they assign guides to people to help them through their financial journey. So let's dive right in. Coming to the hero section, there were a couple of things that really struck out to us. Mainly the reasons why, even though it's so simple, it's really impactful. The videos of the people, they're making eye contact with you while they're smiling, and the smiles seem genuine, not staged. So what they're doing is immediately they're putting you in the right frame of mind, they're putting you in the right mood to even engage with the website. Another thing that adds to the impact of the hero section is also the micro animations that they've managed to add in almost every UI element. So something as simple as this, you see these leaves popping out from the button. So this kind of gives you an idea of what a user can expect as you scroll. And this website manages to meet that expectation at least 90% of the time. Every section there's something new for you to discover, some new kind of interaction or a micro animation that just overall adds to the engaging experience of the website.
Yeah. Then the small banner that we have at the bottom, which is very unassuming but at the same time is very effective. In traditional UI UX manners would be too small to catch attention or too small to even have that amount of importance, which they're giving to membership is risk free for 30 days. It's a big proposition that they are giving the members that they're calling onto the platform. And also it's a lot more effective than putting it on the top where a ticker usually is, which I believe is missed out more than it would have if it were put at the bottom. So I think they've really thought through this.
And as we go on the audit, you'll come to realize that we're doing this more on the basis of the communication front, not so much the visuals of it. We were trying to decode and understand why they chose certain language, why they chose certain UI elements, UX elements, what was the inspiration behind certain copy. So we feel that was the strongest suit of the website as opposed to any kind of visual, because it's a relatively very simple website, but at the same time it pulls the user in.
There's a very mindful centering of the copywriting around the word fruitful or the connotations of fruitful and finances, and the fact that they've captured it within the copywriting itself is not cliched, it's not very quirky, but at the same time it makes sense, and they're recalling the brand again and again but in a very effective manner.
Moving on to this section, the clarity in the copy is also something that really struck out to us. Up front, you know what their offerings are, and it's just two. One is a guide, your partner, and the other is the platform is something that we assume because the copy says something like that. Your place for peace of mind, talk about, track, save and invest your money. So we assume that with the visual and the copy, it will probably talk about the app itself and maybe the features of the app or maybe the UI of it or something. So yeah, upon clicking both these pages, it leads you to the same sign up page, which we thought was a break in the user journey. So there is small, I think, misses we would say in terms of UX. Coming to this section, if you observe the copy, guides that help you grow, even the kind of language that they're using is extremely intentional, and we broke the tone of voice down and we figured out that it all boiled down to a few key things, which was it's always compassionate, it's always honest, it's stripped down in the sense that there is no extra fluff, there is no unnecessary words, unnecessary adjectives. They're saying what they need to say in the simplest and most honest manner, and the benefit of talking in that particular tone of voice is the user immediately wants to trust you and they will trust you. So that's another thing that they do in addition to the happy videos that they have, is they're constantly building on your trust and they're constantly making you feel like, you know what, even I would like a fruitful guide in my life, which is something that I think even the both of us felt at the end of going through the website. We wanted a guide like this as well. So yeah, coming to this section, you have the fruitful guides up front, and one thing that we found quite interesting is the lack of audio or subtitles in the hover functionality makes you really want to know what they're saying. So when the pop-up opens, you have this video of the person talking, and one thing that we found interesting was that we didn't feel like this was scripted. And usually websites that have their team members talk about their expertise, they usually talk about it from the brand's point of view, whereas this is unique in the sense that it's truly Bree Sullivan's point of view. It's not about Fruitful or it's not about Fruitful's ethos. She really talks about her personal experience and what she brings to the table and her qualities and how she can help you, which again is so personable, and it makes you feel like The entire website is extremely personalized for you. And the write-up is just enough, where it's not too much or too little. Everything you need to know to help make your decision in choosing her or not. And also they have this interesting thing called style, where you have their particular qualities that they bring to the table. And within this pop-up itself, you can navigate to the next person without having to move away from the pop-up, which we thought was a nice thing.
But yeah, the fact that they don't have a progress bar is a little bit, or I don't know how much time this video is going to play for. Plus, given that it's just a single short video, it's not like you can figure out the end or the start of it. So that's very confusing. And of course, having the subtitles helps. But if that one element was figured out, would have been better.
Would have made the experience more seamless. So we thought these things did make it a bit jarring at times, because overall everything else was quite smooth and spoke to you on a personal level. The UX dysfunctionalities is what really made you feel like, what, they put so much thought into everything else, why is this not thought through, or why is this not working that well? Jars your experience overall.
These dysfunctionalities are specifically coming from certain UI issues here and there. So we don't know if it is really a development end issue or something that was not thought through properly. But yeah, it's specifically to do with where the page is leading or how the video is starting and what kind of things would have made it a little more smoother with just an addition of a UI element. So yeah, that correlation is where it's taking a hit.
Yeah. We'll then move on to the next section, which is another key integral part of their visual, but again ties back to their communication.
Here we're introduced with another style of their visual design, which is illustrations, and these are really beautifully done, detailed illustrations which do not seem to be AI generated in the age where we are surrounded by and really looking at that kind of a style. It's a lot more human, it's a lot more connecting, there's a lot of diversity and inclusivity that's incorporated. But an added level to it, which I'm not sure if users really resonate with or catch on to, is the fact that they are going ahead with the Fruitful name and the nature of the brand furthermore. And they're basically showing levels or stages of a financial journey or growth by means of planting and farming and taking care of plants. So there's planning, there's sowing, there's harvesting, and all of those that is covered within this one illustration. It's rather detailed, but I don't know how effective it is with the users.
But I feel with your point, right? Yeah, sure, maybe for a user who's not obviously doing detailed audits like us, they're just visiting it as a regular website visitor. Even if they don't understand the deep nuances or the parallels of the illustration concept, just as a simple illustration, it is impactful, it still impacts your mood. So it is doing a job, maybe not at a deeper level.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a useless section. It's still such a beautiful section breather. And the fact that they've chosen to make it full screen edge to edge. So your entire eye is taken up by the full illustration. So even if they don't get it, I feel that it's okay.
Another thing that it just struck me is the fact that they're showing like a community here.
Yes.
And they're talking about membership benefits.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of subliminal messaging which definitely adds to that layer. But yeah, I really hope that the users are able to catch on to it.
And also to your point of community, I just noticed the community is diverse as well.
Yeah.
You have 4 different races. These factors of very consciously putting in race diversity, even though it might not be obvious, will still subconsciously impact the user's psyche in some way or the other. So again, like we were mentioning, the illustrations are also very deeply layered and thoughtfully done, like almost every other element on the website. Even under finances, other than the guidance that you receive, they also help you do 2 other very important aspects to your financial growth, which is learning how to save your money and learning how to invest it in the right means. So you know that this is not just superficial, that they've really thought about their offerings in a layered manner. And again, they're reinforcing everything in a very simple way. They're showing dashboard features and pop-outs that are only necessary, nothing to overload the user. They're managing to show the guide again in a happy state of mind, pop-outs of conversations.
Following up from the illustration where we start talking about membership benefits, a very key word that they're using here is members and not clients or customers, because here easily it could have been real Fruitful customers or clients, but the fact that you become part of something larger like a community, that's what they're trying to build here also. So a lot of human touch and a sense of belonging comes from that rather than just calling them customers or clients.
And also instills a kind of FOMO in you, like you also want to be part of the community, you also want to be a Fruitful member. They've managed to very cleverly bring about that feeling in their prospects as well. Coming to the section where you have testimonials from the Fruitful members. Again, how cleverly they've written the copy. Instead of saying something generic like hear from us or hear from our peers, they have our members make moves, immediately making you seem like these stories are inspiring. And the fact that the guides are actually helping them make meaningful progress. One thing that we found was so interesting, I think most people would not hover on this particular element, is they have the people in these videos are real members who are paid in cash for their time and participation in this series. We think that is fair. So again, going back to their whole ethos as a brand is being honest, transparent, fair and simple. They talk further about when these testimonials were taken, under what circumstances, why they chose to give that money, which we thought was such a honest thing to put up front. And it doesn't seem in any way show-offy, like they want to say that, oh, we are trying to be genuine. It just seems like it's just who they are. We thought that was pretty cool.
Here again, we're reintroduced with the membership is risk-free for 30 days aspect that we saw in the hero section as a banner at the bottom. But the fact that they've gone the extra mile and added another layer to it, saying try it for 30 days, not your thing, then get a full refund, no fuss. So it's not, of course, membership is risk-free for 30 days is completely understandable, but also you may not know, because there's a little bit of vagueness there. Will I get my money back risk-free? What does that mean? Because again, we're talking about money and finances. It can be a tricky thing to navigate in itself. The fact that they've gone ahead and made those things clearly also shows at multiple layers that they know their ICP really well and what they're expecting from Fruitful to be hearing or reading more on. It's really attention to detail.
This section is a personal favorite of both of us because we thought that the goals that they've chosen, the financial goals, are just really carefully curated, because these are the kind of things that anyone, irrespective of where they are in their career, their life or their age, yearn for. Everyone wants to eliminate money stress, no matter how rich or poor you are. Everyone wants to go on a vacation or buy a home for themselves or invest or save. So they've managed to really distill down the common goals that everyone would face. So they've managed to include all kinds of people without excluding any kind of people. Yeah. So this again makes you feel like, oh, this Fruitful might be something for me, or I want a Fruitful guide with me. So again, reinforcing that communication, their core values, and the copy again, your goals are ours too. So this was something very interesting that we found, is they managed to talk about finances without fear or hesitation. Because another strategy to talk about finance is fear mongering, where you can easily say, oh, if you don't save or you don't invest, your life is going to get derailed, your career is not going to move in the trajectory you wish, or so on and so forth. And all of it is true. Those fears are real. If you do not manage your money, it can have like serious impact on your life. But they chose to go the complete opposite route, where they do not talk about the pain. They talk about what your life could be like if you have a Fruitful guide with you.
The functionality with the FAQ is something also we really liked, in terms of how simple it is and very obvious. This is something that you would expect as you continue to scroll, more of the FAQs appearing, but as you scroll back up, they disappear. This is a very simple, no nonsense kind of a way to approach in terms of the interactions that you're seeing, but at the same time, not something that you would have seen before. So I think that draws from the vein that they already have hit, which is that everything is simple and stripped down. Yeah, you're getting what you really require and the essentials.
And the illustrations again reinforcing the fact that you're harvesting something fruitful. Yes. So it's always about being bountiful, which is also certain things that you want to relate to with money, but you're never able to. Like you never think about finances and think about fruitful and being bountiful. It's something that you wish to be. So they're really building on the dream aspect of things, like what your life will look like with Fruitful. Yeah, now we'll just quickly take you through the guides page.
So another UI related UX issue that we come across here on this page is this volume thing, or the mute unmute thing, where if I unmute, if I unmute this window, within this window, this video, it will still have the sound of the hero section video playing. So there is no way for me to listen to this video here, which we found was rather bizarre, but also probably a bug that they would not have fixed. Or
And
both of them.
and even if you open both videos, both audios play simultaneously, which is very jarring. It takes so many extra clicks for you to go out, mute one, and then come in and unmute another.
Yeah, it's just breaking the flow,
Yeah.
which we do not want the user to be doing, cognitively thinking about this and being disturbed by it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is your traditional slider section for Teams. And one thing that I think I found made me question is, why did they choose to present their headline in such a manner? Why is choose your guide highlighted in this way and why the rest aren't? Is it because they're less important? But I felt the opposite. I felt like maybe if they flipped the hierarchy, choose your guide could have been in gray. Because once you choose your guide, then you chart your journey and then you change your life. Those bigger, impactful lines, why are they in lesser hierarchy? We thought that was also a weird choice. Or maybe if they do have a reason, it's not obvious enough for us to understand. Again, coming to another illustration,
which are definitely my favorite here. It's the scene setting and the capturing of real elements that you experience in day-to-day life that they have done brilliantly over here. Definitely this looks like it's ICP is and Gen Z target audience, so we can definitely see that kind of an influence, what a millennial would be doing at home maybe during an afternoon, definitely with their pet. They are at the same time watering their plants, which are again very bountiful. At the same time they are having a conversation with a fruitful guide. So all of that is leading to a lot of this relaxed environment that also goes to show the mood that they're setting. Fruitful is going to be relaxing for you in terms of your finances. So again, going back to the point Athira was mentioning, how it's not fear mongering, rather it's exactly the opposite of that. Is being furthermore illustrated here.
So when websites use illustrations to represent the dream state that a user can imagine themselves in, it's always very fantastical. There's a lot of unrealistic elements to the illustration, or it doesn't seem too realistic that you can imagine yourself in it. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It definitely adds to the impact factor of the website. But here they've really very carefully and deliberately chosen to not go that route. Why choose elements like that when they can show a very realistic dream state and something that's so calming that anyone would want to be in this kind of a setting? So that was also another very clever layer that we thought was added on.
Also importantly, they talk about finances, so I think they have definitely grounded it in that reality.
Right.
Not because you don't want to make false promises. It comes back to compliances and regulations. You do not want to place yourself in a very fantastical format.
One more point we uncovered with the copy is again how simple it is. Talk to a human, an expert, a fruitful guide. Most platform websites, they usually address the pain point a user has, the solution they offer, and what it unlocks. They say, okay, with our solution you can do this, that, so many other things. But what it insinuates without being obvious is the fact that I can do so many things, but I'm doing it alone. This is not something that a user very obviously feels, but we felt that it was important to explain because parallelly in Fruitful, what they're doing is they do talk about their solution, but not in a way that you have to figure it out alone. They say it in a way that every step of the way, we've got you. We're with you, we're supporting you, we are your partners in this. And the tone of voice is in such a way that the guides are not condescending or they are going to dictate every single aspect of your financial journey. The keyword being they guide you through it. So that kind of supportive feeling is something they evoke in you on the website, which again is another encoded layer which we found within the copy itself. So yeah, we've reached the end of our audit, and overall we felt that the concept is very deep. They've managed to extend it throughout in terms of their copy, in terms of their visuals, illustrations, with the ICP being key to all of it. The gap that we found was there were a lot of UX dysfunctionalities which really impacts your user journey. So I think if that is fixed as well, this would really become a cohesive website which takes forward their core concept through and through with every element. Thank you for spending your time with us. See you on the next audit. Bye bye.
Bye.